It's Norwich City and Manchester United providing the entertainment this afternoon, both hoping the match will prove to be the turning point in a league season that's been going rapidly downhill. 9 without a win, United, 4 straight defeats, Norwich. Well, Andy Gray is with us this afternoon. Andy, the league position, you've got to say United's more alarming, just above the bottom 3 now, tipped as championship contenders at the start of the season, more likely that relegation candidates.
It looks like it's getting desperate times as the season goes on for United. The more and more they go with, the longer they go without a win, Elton, and the harder it's going to be to actually get that win. It's fascinating we have today that both teams are really desperate for a win, and for probably the first time in a long while, Manchester United are playing a team that probably under as much pressure as they are to actually get a win. So we could be in for a fascinating tussle.
Now, there haven't been many goals between these two sides over recent games.
That's right. Well, I mean, Man United, 4 in the last 9, and Norwich 5 in the last 9. In my opinion, that's great ingredients for a goal feast this afternoon.
Oh, you're right.
So do I.
We'll find out at half-time. We'll have a chat then, Andy. Let's join our commentators now, Jimmy Greaves and Brian Moore.
Well, let's have a look first of all at the two teams. First of all, Norwich City with Brian Gunn in goal. 2 is Ian Culverhouse. 3 is Mark Bowen, passed a test on a groin injury this morning. Number 4 is the skipper, Ian Butterworth. 5 is Andy Linnigan. 6, Andy Townsend. 7, Dale Gordon. 8, Robert Fleck. 9, Robert Rosario. 10 is Ian Crook. And 11, David Phillips. They'll play with Ian Crook very free in the midfield, with Andy Townsend a big influence in this area. Dale Gordon quick down the flank, and the tall Robert Rosario and Robert Fleck as well looking for the goals. Manchester United, of course, still without Brian Robson, but with Jim Leighton in goal for them. 2, Viv Anderson. 3 is Lee Martin. 4, the former Norwich favourite Steve Bruce, as indeed is the number 5 Mike Phelan. They both captain Norwich City, incidentally. 6 is Gary Pallister. 7 in Robson's shirt is Mark Robbins. 8, Paul Ince, fit again. 9 is Brian McClare. 10, Mark Hughes. And 11, Danny Wallace, 26 today, also returning after injury. Alex Ferguson was talking about playing with 4 up very positively, with Ince and Phelan in the midfield. But there's talk in the last few minutes that he might in fact play Ince as a sweeper. So we'll just have to wait and see. Our referee today is Terry Holbrook of Wolverhampton. And our substitutes at Carrow Road today for Norwich City are Tim Sherwood and Malcolm Allen. And for Manchester United, Clayton Blackmore and Russell Beardsmore. Well, 26 years old today, Danny Wallace. He's missed 5 games with a hamstring injury and will be seeking a real celebration for himself and United on this afternoon in East Anglia. Away we go, Norwich City, yellow shirts, of course, the Canaries attacking the goal to our left. Manchester United in red, as usual. And here's Rosario, big 6'3" striker. Townsend. United 9 games in the league without a win. Norwich City, for their parts, they've lost their last 4 in the league, all by a single goal. So 2 sides really struggling for a bit of form, but both say they're playing quite well. Bruce with a header. Great jump by Crook. Ince. Martin to Bruce. Back to Martin again. Here's Ince, who in fact is lying fairly deep. Butterworth, the skipper of Norwich City. In goes Anderson. Bruce again, and Ince in fact is playing at this moment in a sweeper's role behind the back 4. Townsend getting it back to Gunn. 2 Scottish goalkeepers on view here today, Brian Gunn and Jim Leighton, of course, both looking for places in the Scottish squad for the World Cup, and both former Aberdeen players, teammates there up in Aberdeen. Free kick to Norwich City. Ian Crook, so active right through that midfield area. Sometimes Norwich City worry they have to rein him in a little bit because he tries to do too much. That's not a bad-looking cross. It was Pallister's height that got it away, and Andy Townsend returning their header, but an offside flag is up. A free kick to Manchester United. In a way, I suppose, we're a bit like vultures gathered again, wheeling around over the bones of a beleaguered Manchester United. Alex Ferguson himself admits that a win today is necessary to lift the pressure off them, so near the foot of the table now. But they have shown good form in patches. A terrific draw up at Anfield just before Christmas, and of course they beat Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup at the City Ground. Its consistent form this season has totally eluded them. And just 4 off the bottom, Manchester United today. Norwich himself in 10th place in the First Division, and they feel a good run, but still have them in with a shout for the Championship. That's Ferguson. Rosario, and a good break forward by Townsend, and good work too by Leighton. What a terrific break from the midfield by Andy Townsend, and a good throw out by the goalkeeper for McClare. Hughes tries to get the speed of Wallace away down this right flank. And a goal kick it is. Andy Townsend, formerly at Southampton, a Kentish boy, born at Maidstone. And very much in Jack Charlton's mind was the Republic of Ireland. Look towards the World Cup in Italy. Great run through the midfield. Dale Gordon winning that above Lee Martin in the air. Here's Gordon again. A lot of pace down that right flank for Norwich City. Butterworth to Linnigan, 2 reliable centre-backs. Rosario, Ince dropped away off him as the ball went to the tall Rosario. Gordon trying to get Culverhouse in on the far side, and Mark Robbins going back. He'll get some help from Martin, and Norwich will get a throw. Dale Gordon. Townsend. Phillips. Anderson's header. That's a good ball. Culverhouse on the far side, the fullback. And it's a throw. Good crowd here on a brightish afternoon, and quite surprisingly mild here in Norfolk. Splendid compact little ground here at Carrow Road. Fleck. Ince challenging him and winning. Wallace. Now Robbins chasing that. Given the chance, you feel that United would still aim to be very positive, because they've got Wallace and Robbins down their flanks, and Hughes, of course, in a very strong attacking position, and McClare just tucked in behind them. Finnegan's header. In goes Pallister, whose game is improving all the time now. Jimmy Greaves?
I think with the first 5 minutes over, it's pretty clear that both sides are going to go for it. I think they both realise they've got to. It's been a long time since both of them have had a win, and they've started off in very positive mood.
Good jump again by Rosario. Phelan. Here's Bowen. Fleck. Gordon, well challenged by Bruce. Might have laid that just a little too firmly ahead of Hughes. Phillips. In goes Anderson behind him. In goes Phelan behind Townsend. Rosario. They've got a terrific record, Norwich, against Manchester City, against Manchester United. Free kick.
Well, Mark Hughes has obviously decided to put himself about as usual.
Butterworth with the free kick. Hit towards Rosario. Norwich have won on the last 4 occasions these two clubs have met. Ince challenged by Fleck. Fleck falls. The referee decides it's a goal kick. United with no win in their last 9 league games, 4 drawn, 5 lost, and only 4 goals scored. When you look at the fact that they have such a poor goal-scoring record at the moment, it's hard to believe that Brian Leclerc, for example, hasn't scored since late October, and Mark Hughes has scored only 2 since late October. And there maybe you have the reason in a nutshell as to why United just are struggling the way they are.
I think what's fascinating there is that neither of them have attempted to commit suicide. Because if you were as a striker, you just can't accept those figures.
Gordon. Phelan. This is Lee Martin. Townsend. Here's Phillips. To Mark Bowen. Crook. Bowen. Bruce will get it back. To be fair to him, is playing that much more in the midfield now as he is at the moment. They've strung 4 across the midfield, Manchester United.
Yeah, but that's a fair argument, Brian, but that gives a lot of midfield players a lot of room in which to manoeuvre and follow up and create space for themselves to get into goal-scoring chances. I mean, Brian Robson does it well enough.
Steve Hodge is doing it well for Nottingham Forest at the moment.
Absolutely.
And here's Pallister. And now McClare. Bringing Martin into it again. It's not a bad cross, but Linnigan's behind it for Norwich. Here's Dale Gordon now. That's a good ball and some space for Phillips. Rosario active up ahead of him, Fleck as well, and Crook away on the right. See that free rein of his again. Allowed freedom to just float wherever he wants to. Butterworth. And again, the Norwich captain, this time finding Robert Fleck. Butterworth again. Bowen. Butterworth, he was challenged and forced into the area by Hughes, who committed a foul on the Norwich captain. And Terry Holbrook needing just a quick word with Mark Hughes. Just over the 10-minute mark gone if you just joined us. Here at Carrow Road in Norwich. Norwich City 0, Manchester United 0.
That's 2 touches Mark Hughes has had. Maybe he'll get one of the balls soon.
Well, it's Butterworth, and Norwich seek to punish that Manchester side with that free kick, but this time United get a free kick.
I think what's interesting about Manchester United's lineup at the moment, Brian, with Paul Ince as a sweeper, is I'm not sure whether he knows exactly what he's got to do at the moment. He doesn't seem to be picking anybody up, and he's looking around him in a somewhat confused manner.
He's played a bit of sweeping before, though. He's played for United before, and in the West Ham side, John Lyle, I know, felt that he had great prospects as a sweeper. Phelan. Townsend dragging it away. Rosario. It's Crook to Butterworth. To Bowen. Came off Townsend and fell for Anderson. Slipped by Hughes. And away goes Butterworth. Into the path of Rosario. Fleck making ground through the middle, and Dale Gordon as well. Here's Phillips. Crook. Ince cutting that out. Good positioning there by the Manchester United sweeper. Hughes. Good turn by him. Hit it straight at Crook. Norwich won both their games against Manchester United last season and went to Old Trafford in August and won 2-0. Here's Ince doing what all good sweepers should do, look for the chance to move with pace forward. Pallister. Good challenge that by Fleck, just quickening Pallister up a little bit, but in the end it was a shot that was hardly worthy of the name. Pallister just got there before him.
It is going to be difficult for Norwich because United are playing 5 at the back, so it's not going to be easy to break them down.
There's Wallace's header. Townsend. Rosario. Butterworth. Phillips. Shove in the back as they jumped by Viv Anderson, and Anderson quick to recognise that he was wrong and said to the referee, yep, that was a fair decision. Bowen with a kick for Norwich. Shoved by Rosario that time on Bruce. Robert Rosario. London lad from Hillingdon. And he also is struggling to find goals at the moment. He got one against Exeter in the FA Cup replay, but one league goal in the last 18 league games. Ince with a kick. Up goes Anderson, but Butterworth there with him. McClare. Now, can Robbins get in there? No. Culverhouse was aware that Robbins was coming up fast. Bought just a little bit of time with that ball high in the air. Now, Lee Martin, it's out off Gordon. United's throw. Hughes. Robbins. Phelan. Straight to Fleck though. Fleck into the path of Townsend, a little flick by him to Rosario, well read by Pallister, and Pallister now taking it up himself for Manchester United. Danny Wallace outside him. McClare really not given a great chance with that one. Taking it from Rosario. Oh, a little dummy there. And a good save by Jim Leighton. A very good run by Dale Gordon. And a nice little shimmy that just there it was, and it just wrong-footed in, gave Dale Gordon the yard, but a good save by the keeper. And a free kick now to Manchester United. Ince will take it. Anderson up on the far side. Does a lot of damage in the opposing penalty area. And it didn't quite reach him. Dale Gordon got there first for Norwich. But here's Ince again. Still battling away, Paul Ince. And then Bruce playing it through to Hughes. But Hughes beaten for the ball. Gets it back again from Crook. Tries to chip it wide for Danny Wallace. And Wallace must have said something when the flag went up for offside. And the referee across very quickly to give a very stern warning to Danny Wallace. Here's Linnigan. Another free kick to Norwich City. So Rosario takes his appointed place on the edge of the Manchester United penalty area, but it comes in low to Fleck, taken up by Townsend. But not on his favoured foot. Oh, but he's got it back again. Helped by Gordon. Challenged in the end by Phelan. Gets it towards Robbins, but it's still Norwich in possession. And Norwich player Fleck, I think it is down, as it comes to Phillips on this side. Beautifully controlled by him. Taken away from Anderson. Whacked in again there. Ince gets it away, but not very far. And then Martin up to Hughes. Fleck on his feet once more. And a poor pass there by Hughes. And Phillips on the move now for Norwich City. Good shot on him, but not on this occasion. Far too high. There's some lively stuff, Jimmy Greaves.
Yes, certainly Norwich are playing the better of the two sides at the moment. They're far more direct. They've had a couple of good efforts at goal. That one particularly was probably a little bit of a way out. And Manchester United will be happy to see them shoot from there.
So 20 minutes gone, 0-0. Bruce there first. And a Norwich throw. Dale Gordon with it to Fleck. Culverhouse playing it in. Bruce getting it away. There's a foul on Bruce by Fleck after that ball had gone, and it'll be a free kick to Manchester United. Ince to Bruce, back to Ince. So much pace about him, but he hasn't really been able to show it yet. He almost got that into the path of McClare. Crook. Now chase that. Here's to Rosario. The flag stays down. United trying to get back. Fleck stopped there for support. across the face of the goal. A poor one there by Andy Townsend, but Bowen can turn it in. Anderson only half gets it away.
Good move, that.
Well, delightful ball. Bowen. Rosario on the far side. Plenty up and in there. Oh, a terrific goal! It came off the post, no. Thought that looked as certain to be in there from Rosario. He volleyed it with such power against the post. And somehow it came right across the face of the goal and behind. And United breathe again. Oh, that was an astonishing moment. Here's Anderson. Wallace. Well, Mark Bowen picked his man, sorted out Rosario. A fantastic volley. And look at that.
Great cross, great volley this. I think Jim let it go. He knew that it was not going to go in.
Fleck. Gordon. Fleck. Rosario. Phillips. Dale Gordon. Pallister with him. Oh, that was a dangerous thing to do. I think in the end maybe it came off Fleck and it'll be a goal kick. But that was a really dangerous back pass by Gary Pallister. And the Norwich fans well behind their team now, and a certain sympathy for Rosario. A terrific volley. And I was telling you earlier, he scored only 1 in 18 league games. Well, when you've got luck like that, it's no wonder.
Yes, it was bad luck, actually. It didn't really deserve a goal. And the way Norwich are getting through United at the moment is they're just knocking the ball over the top.
Here's Rosario again. United claimed a handball there. The referee said accidental. Wallace. McClare after this. Done for Norwich. Linnigan. Pallister. Hughes. Butterworth there. Townsend. Hughes got there as well. Phelan getting in there as well. Good, fair, strong challenges there by both sets of players. Phelan once again. Anderson. Ince. Bruce. Martin chasing this one, but Linnigan's head gets there first. Martin finds Hughes, one of those famous Hughes turns. He was actually pulled back there for a moment by Linnigan. Dave Stringer, Norwich City manager. A side that are playing some neat, progressive football and very entertaining too. And in fairness, Jimmy, I suppose that's really been Norwich's hallmark from the days of John Bond through to Kenny Brown with Mel Machin and now with Dave Stringer. They've always been a club renowned for some good, entertaining and neat football.
Actually, you're right. They have, over the years, been one of the most entertaining sides in league football.
It's a free kick to Norwich City. A quick word from Andy Gray.
Yes, Brian, I mean, it strikes me, I don't know if Jimmy will agree, that I think what Alex Ferguson has done by playing a sweeper is he's handed the initiative straight to Norwich to get at them. And I think what's going to be difficult for United now is that they're actually going to be able to turn the game round in their favour. I think Norwich have got their tails up, and it's going to be very difficult with them playing a sweeper unless they change it.
Now Dale Gordon stopped by Martin.
Well, it's a good point of Andy's, because, as I say, I'm not sure whether Paul Ince is actually 100% certain of what he's doing there. It's all right having a sweeper if you know what he's doing. And Andy's right, the initiative is firmly in Norwich's court at the moment.
Little chip there by Crook. Owen versus Lee Martin, and a corner to Norwich City. Their first of the game. With 27 minutes gone. Big Andy Linnigan up from the back. Fleck on the goal line. Butterworth in there too. It's gone a long way back towards Linnigan. It's a goal kick. And Alec Ferguson, 4-4-2, I heard him say, 4-4-2. So it looks as though Andy Gray and Jimmy might well be right between them. They're going to take Paul Ince away from the sweeping role. Certainly picked up the words 4-4-2. And it really was a change of heart from Alex Ferguson. He was telling me last night that he was determined to play 4-2-4 with Ince and Phelan in the midfield and really go for it with 4 up. Hughes. Martin. Stopped, or only half stopped by Crook. Robbins, the little touch for Phelan. Phelan knows every blade of this Carrow Road ground, a former skipper here. Bannister. Robbins, the little touch. Fleck was there to pick it up, though, for Norwich. Chasing on. And a lovely ball played through. No, not so lovely. It looked as though it was good for a moment that he'd spotted Rosario on the right. But it was too close to Jim Leighton. And there's some readjustments now being made, I think, in the United defence. Because Ince has now gone in front of the back 4. And they are now playing very much a 4-4-2.
They have readjusted themselves completely, really, at the moment. I'm still not too sure who's playing where.
Free kick given United's way.
They're playing 3 up front at the moment. Ince has moved into the middle of the field, Brown. Because Andy was right, they had given the initiative to Norwich, now they've got to try and win it back.
Bruce with the free kick. Hughes getting it away from Gordon. Ince now in the midfield. Martin just towards Robbins, but it falls to the arms of Brian Gunn. A little throw out to Mark Bowen. Still 0-0. Brian Gunn, who played 15 games for Aberdeen, while the man at the other end was playing over 300. Jim Leighton. Rosario. Bannister. Robbins. Hughes very nearly getting Wallace in. Goal kick.
Well, he's moved Danny Wallace across to the other side of the field to obviously see if that has any effect. In fact, he's switched wingers, really. He's sent Robbins this side and Wallace over on the far side.
Yes, they're leaving Hughes and Robbins, the 2 up front. Linnigan. Gordon. Rosario. Fleck jumping at an opponent. That would be construed as a free kick to Manchester United. Anderson. Phillips. Into Hughes. Hughes half tripped there. Claim that he was tripped. In the meantime, Crook takes up the ball for Norwich City. Here's Culverhouse. Gordon away on the right, Fleck through the middle with Rosario. Bruce holding him up. Dale Gordon. Andy Townsend. In Culverhouse to Gordon again. It's Crook. Rosario. Townsend. Straight at the keeper, and that must have moved a little bit in the air because Jim Leighton looked so grateful to be able to grab that to his chest. Townsend on his left foot, and you could see it moving a fair bit. There. Robbins waiting in the middle. Getting some support from Hughes. Here's Phelan. Ince to Anderson. Ince with the throw. And United will be better for Ince in the midfield. There's no two ways about it. It's Ferguson saying that here he is on the ball now. It's been an absolute revelation in the midfield for them. Here he comes. He's gone past Bowen. There's the ball lifted in. Linnigan getting it away. And now Fleck to Crook. Gordon and Rosario up ahead. This is Gordon being shadowed by Bruce. And a free kick given to Norwich City. The foul by Steve Bruce, right down by the corner flag. Sparkling form this afternoon, Dale Gordon.
So you're right, Brian. It's a very good run.
Fleck tried to get there with a near post header. Here's Crook to put more problems in the way of the United defence. And a very valuable header by Pallister as Rosario was poised above him. And somehow that comes out as a goal kick. Maybe it was Rosario, but it certainly was a very good jump indeed by Pallister and some good work by Dale Gordon. Born in Great Yarmouth, who I think is probably the only Norfolk-born player actually in the Norwich side, Dale Gordon. Linnigan. Bruce taking the free kick quickly. But too quickly for the liking of referee Terry Holbrook. The referee, a late substitution actually for this game. Alan Seville is due to have this game, but if you're watching Midweek Sports Special on Wednesday night, he came off injured in the Nottingham Forest Spurs game. And the referee not making his wishes absolutely clear to Steve Bruce. He couldn't get closer to him now to tell him exactly what he wants from this free kick. Where it's to be taken. Indirect, arm aloft. And away we go. Towards Brian McClare. Hasn't missed a game since he joined Manchester United 2.5 years ago. No foul. Townsend hoisting it high towards Rosario and Gordon. Knocked away by Lee Martin. Bruce. Hughes. Ince. Andy Townsend. Oh, that wobbled, and it was a nasty one for Butterworth to deal with. Norwich moving sweetly forward again through Bowen. half-time. And still 0-0. Anderson.
Come on, Robert Fleck, you lazy git!
I think United, by reorganising themselves, have stopped the Norwich onslaught somewhat, and now they're regrouping. The game's beginning to even out a little bit more, and you can see United coming into it.
Rosario. Yes, United, of course, without the inspiration of Brian Robson from their midfield. They just hope they're going to get him fit for the cup tie at Hereford next weekend. It's got a bit of a groin problem. Apparently he's running smoothly enough, but just can't accelerate at the moment. But the other news for United fans is that Neil Webb now has started jogging and did 12 laps yesterday without any adverse effects on his repaired Achilles. But United very wisely saying, we're not going to rush him. Give him all the time that he needs. But it's good news, Neil, that you're getting back towards business at any rate. A free kick to Manchester United, meanwhile. Paul Ince will take it. They've shoved Gary Pallister forward and Viv Anderson. 2, 4, 6, 7 red shirts around that Norwich City penalty area as Ince lifts it towards Mark Hughes. McClare in there as well. Hughes in there too. Looking to get a shot in. Butterworth pushing everybody out of the way to get it away. And finds Fleck with a lovely ball. Phillips now with Gordon outside him. Phillips free on this side. Good work by Leighton. Actually, a more hoisted cross there by Dale Gordon would have been a formality for David Phillips, but a great break again by Norwich.
It's a great bait. Actually, if Dale Gordon had crossed it back a little bit more, Robert Fleck was totally unmarked on the edge of the box.
It's Phelan now for United. Ince to Hughes. Still 0-0 as we come towards half-time with something like 6 minutes left. Townsend making the break from midfield. Pallister after him. Last 5 minutes of the first half coming up. A free kick to Norwich City. A foul by Pallister. And Townsend. Oh, they've got now bound to get in behind them again. And somehow Rosario had 2 cracks at it. Again, United got it off the line. Well, they made trouble for themselves by allowing Bowen to get behind them to the byline. That was some really slack defensive play by United, and they nearly paid the price. And look, here we are again. Bowen once more. A longer cross this time. Rosario on the far side, and that time Pallister put it behind. But Bowen is causing them all sorts of problems with those darting little runs of his down the left. And some good, accurate crossing as well. So Gordon with the corner. Rosario at the near post. Fleck in behind him. Linnigan and Townsend on the edge of the box. This is Ian Crook. Smacked a volley in there, which came off the defender. But a flag was already up for offside. It'll be a free kick to Manchester United. How slow they were to pick him up here, Jimmy Greaves.
Yeah, well, they're ball watching. They're not really being aware of the men that are around them, and they were very lucky to get away with this one. I don't think they even knew where the ball was, the Manchester United defence, but they got it away. But unless they start picking up their men, they are going to be in big trouble.
Like a foul on Wallace, just by Culverhouse. Ince. McClare. Hughes on that far side. Phelan with a shot! Former Norwich man would have loved that one to have gone in. Caught it well. And here's Bowen again. Rosario. Powerful header there. Guided beautifully to Fleck. Gordon. McAllister getting in, conceding the corner again. So Dale Gordon again with the corner for Norwich. A really good finish to this first half with about 3 minutes of it remaining. Butterworth in there this time, and Linnigan as well. It's Linnigan's header, knocked away, not very far, crossed in again by Andy Townsend, and that was easy meat for Jim Leighton. Here's McClare bringing it away for United. Well, the ball goes straight to Gordon, challenged by Martin, and a free kick's been given to Manchester United.
Well, I think the first half is summed up by what we said at the start, Brian, with all the statistics. Nobody's able to score a goal.
And Rosario's come closest.
When I say nobody's able to score one, nobody seems to have the ability to score one.
Let's see what Hughes can do. Robbins. Ince. It's a good, powerful shot on it normally. Alistair's header. But Fleck. Alistair's long legs. Half stops Fleck again. Here's David Phillips. Timely stopped by Anderson. Hughes. Just on the edge of the box. No foul, says the referee. Wasn't inside the box. Rosario battling away, a flag raised over on the other side there. It'll be a free kick.
I think United were a bit unlucky not to get a free kick there. I think Mark Hughes was a little bit unfairly dealt with there on the edge of the box.
It's Martin with the free kick. Hughes, Robbins, Alistair, McClare, Anderson up as well. United seeking to go in with a half-time lead, but not with that free kick. Injury time at the end of the first 45 minutes. Half-time, no goals. Robert Rosario closest with that fabulous shot of his that hit the post. I was shouting goal, thought it had gone in, but it went along the line and went to safety. Identical, in fact, to a goal that a shot that Gary Lineker made for Tottenham at Arsenal yesterday, which you'll be able to see later on in the programme. But here at Carrow Road, half-time, Norwich City 0, Manchester United 0.
Well, no goals, very few chances. You've got to say the major talking point to come out of the first half really surrounding Manchester United's strategy and their use of the sweeper system. Paul Ince playing sweeper, Andy, in the first sort of 25 minutes of the game.
Yeah, it was very strange. I think Jimmy was right. I mean, in this country especially, we're not masters at using the sweeper, and I think that showed with Manchester United's policy. Paul Ince looked all at sea. It's Manchester United were as well playing with a man less at that time. And whether it's a bold decision from Alex Ferguson, who we've seen come down to the dugout after about 25 minutes and move Paul Ince into midfield, because it certainly wasn't working for them, and they were absorbing a tremendous amount of pressure at that time.
What fascinated me about that, when he reverted to 4-4-2 after 25 minutes, is that surely in the dressing room beforehand, all the talk would have been about the sweeper system, how they were going to employ it.
Yeah.
And then after 25 minutes, he gets his instructions out onto the pitch, and that again seemed to cause a bit of confusion.
I think it might have been a case of, let's not give anything away early on. I think Alec was probably very conscious of not losing a goal in the first 10 or 15 minutes. It must have haunted him, the thought of losing an early goal here at Norwich. And he's probably decided to tighten things up The difficult thing
Do you think it
arises...
was, as Brian was suggesting, an off-the-cuff decision, maybe, you know, half an hour or so before the kick?
No, I would be very surprised if a manager of a club like Manchester United makes an off-the-cuff decision on whether you play a sweeper or not half an hour before the game. I've no doubt that Alec made the decision a few days ago, quite a few days ago, and he's probably tried it in training. But as we all seen in the first 25 minutes, it certainly didn't work for them.
Well, the game really has only had two outstanding chances. Both fell to Norwich, and both, in fact, fell to Robert Rosario. And you've got to say that it's synonymous with the luck that he's been having in recent weeks. It's no wonder he's only scored once in 18 games.
I think 1 in 18, as you say, and to be fair to that, he can't do any more here. A lovely little cross, and he strikes a beautiful left foot volley. I mean, Jim Leighton's not seen it. I think Jim's looked behind him, expecting to see the net rippling. And he must have quite a lot of sympathy with the big man. He must be desperate for a goal. If he's done anything wrong, and a stupid thing to say, he's hit it too well. I mean, look at that. It's a tremendous strike. Worth a goal, and anyone's money.
Was this one here, Andy, was this actually a better chance? From a striker's point of view, would you, for example, expect to pull this one away?
I mean, I think what you have to give here is Gary Pallister for that one. That's great defending. But I think when it comes back to him there, I think Robert's got to get it up above Jim Leighton. I think he'll be disappointed that he's hit the keeper with the second bite of it.
Amazing, really. United having only one shot, and that was after 41 minutes.
Yeah.
It wasn't even on target.
No, it was not.
Anyway, we can guarantee you goals at the end of the programme, Andy. A couple of real crackers from your old mate, Kevin Sheedy for Everton. And from the First Division showpiece game, Aston Villa against Southampton, 3 goals, including this one, the first of the match, by Tony Daly. Join us again after the break. Welcome back. No goals here at Carrow Road. A very nice afternoon here, but out on the pitch, no goals so far. And you've got to say that unless the pattern of the match changes, then there's only going to be one winning team, and that's Norwich City. Let's hear from their manager now, Dave Stringer. He's with Gary Newbarn.
David, you really got behind the Manchester United defence there, but you must be despairing about not scoring a goal.
Yes, we had a couple of good chances there, hit the post on one, and one was well saved, but we've got to keep on doing the same thing in the second half, and hopefully we'll get the breakthrough that we're looking for.
What have you told the players during the break?
Well, just to keep it going as they are and try to play for the chances, and hopefully they'll come.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Views of the Norwich City manager. Manchester United now on the field as we await the start of the second half. The sides, in fact, should be fairly refreshed, not only by the half-time break, but United have had a few days in southern Spain, in Marbella, although they had a fair amount of rain there, so they were telling me. Norwich City have had 3 or 4 days down near Bournemouth at Ferndown, played a bit of golf. So they both had a little bit of a break. As United now get the second half underway. Pallister. Hughes. Smith Anderson. To Brian Leclerc. What a good piece of play by City number 6, Andy Townsend, but not such a good bit there. Goes straight to Gary Pallister, Manchester United number 6, and here's Lee Martin, young fullback who's really made that position his own now. It's Phelan. Just showed a little too much of it to Ian Butterworth, and they obviously the referee must have heard something there, because they quickly whacked Jim McGregor, the Manchester United physio, Alex Ferguson on his feet quickly, and obviously there's a fear there that Mike Phelan might have a serious injury. He just played it there, just a little bit too close to the player as the Norwich City man came in. Phelan went down in a bundle, and the referee quickly called the physiotherapist on, fearing that it might be serious. And Phelan, former Norwich City player, cost £750,000. That's
think with respect, it was a fair challenge.
Yes, I think it probably was, Jim.
Ways, one of those that the players went awkwardly, but it looks pretty much as though he's looking fine. Yep, he's on his feet. Here's Mike Phelan. That's great. That's great news, because we all did fear the worst. The way the referee reacted, it looked pretty serious for a second or so.
And certainly with the long-term injuries that Manchester United have had, they scarcely wanted another one with Mike Phelan. Drop ball, and Norwich City allowing, because United were in possession. A good bit of sportsmanship there by Norwich City. The ball was dropped by the referee. Norwich made no attempt whatsoever to play it.
And good sportsmanship by United, really, because Stevie Bruce just knocked it straight to the goalkeeper,
Correct,
which was
Jimmy.
great.
It's not always a dark, old, sinister game, is it? And
Oh, on the contrary, it's nothing like what the bringers of gloom will always have you believe.
Well, here's Brian Gunn. Rosario, his chest for Martin. Rosario getting it back again, just there ahead of Ince. Phelan again. Ince. Claire just that little bit deeper now. Ince. Now by Townsend. Bruce with the kick. Hit towards Anderson. He'd sneak forward, got the header in. Hughes trying to make the most of it. Viv Anderson again. McClare! Oh! He found some good space for himself with a lovely run from the midfield, but that really sums up Brian McClare's season at the moment.
One has to say that this is a disastrous miss, really. I mean, Brian McClare has got all the time in the world and all the space in which to put it. And he doesn't even hit the target with it.
You have to feel sorry for him. That's the sort of season it's been. He came down from Celtic. He got 24 league goals in his first season. They began to dry up last season, flex offsides, when McClare got 10. This season, only 4 so far. And as I said in the first half, the last goals came in October, a couple against Southampton, but Mike Phelan is now hobbling off the field. And I imagine it'll be Clayton Blackmore who comes on. So he did take a nasty bang there. And maybe United, so far as that injury is concerned, are not yet out of the wood. Butterworth's good jump ahead of Hughes. Wallace, little touch there, and it was Linnigan who hooked it away for Norwich. Here's Rosario. Crook playing it forward, saying to Fleck, get after that one, but Pallister and Anderson between them. Here's Clayton Blackmore. Certainly versatile enough, Clayton Blackmore. Plays full-back all through the midfield. Welshman. Phelan off. Blackmore. Ince. Hughes. Bit of space here now for Blackmore. Wallace. Martin. Crook had gone back there. Took a lucky ricochet off the Manchester United player. In goes Bruce. In goes Ince. Away comes Gordon. Flick wide now for Crook. Fleck and Rosario through the middle, and he played it maybe just a little quicker than Fleck wanted it. And Anderson was able to get in and get it back safely to his goalkeeper. The news of Mike Phelan is that it's the right ankle that's causing the problem. Bruce. It's a free kick. Lee Martin. Back to Steve Bruce. Hooking it away. Bruce looking to get there before Fleck, and he'll have to really open up. Robert Fleck! Off the crossbar! Well, that's twice Norwich have hit the woodwork. Dave Stringer at half-time saying we just want to go on doing the things we've been doing. That's just what Norwich are doing. But they're having none of the luck. Rosario in the first half, Fleck in the second. Both off the woodwork. Jimmy Green?
Bad luck, though, because it was a good effort by Robert Fleck. He was always second best to that ball, but he beat Stevie Bruce. And a great effort, great effort. You can't argue with it. Just a bit of bad luck again.
Alistair. Foul on Robert Rosario. A free kick to Norwich City. Strains of on the ball City. As Bowen again tries to get in there, and Leighton's down. And a good throw out by Leighton. Picked Ince out well here. Blackmore. Anderson away on the right. He might struggle to get to that one. No, he doesn't. Just gets there before Cook. Robbins. Ince with a shot, charge down. Clayton Blackmore again, the substitute on for Phelan. Ince just delayed it a moment too long, and Linningham was able to get in, and they get it back safely from Bowen to goalkeeper Gunn. Head up. Bruce trying to hold off Rosario. Not the easiest job. And the ball goes United's way. Good battling performance there by Steve Bruce. Starts a suspension next week. Sent off last weekend against Derby County. Misses the cup tie against Hereford. Having a real battle there with Rosario. Two big men. Martin. Bruce. Ince. Out of the way, referee. He wasn't helped by Terry Holbrook there, Paul Ince. But Anderson comes back, and it's another corner for Norwich. United might well point to the fact that their problems began there when Ince found the referee in his way. Gordon with the corner. Linningham going in. And a foul on the goalkeeper, I think, possibly there, and it'll be a free kick. Maybe the ball went just behind a goal kick. But Norwich continue to look the more likely side, Jimmy.
Well, they do indeed. Paul Ince was a bit incensed that the referee got in his way, but then the woodworks got in the way of Norwich a couple of times. So.
Anderson's header. Butterworth playing it forward. Fleck, who's in really lively form up there, but it's a throw to Manchester United. 56 minutes gone, 0-0 still. Out of 17,370. Watching Culverhouse come forward. A nice dummy there by Rosario. Might let Townsend in. Good work by Clayton Blackmore. And Ince can take it up now for Manchester United. He's got McClare outside him on the right. Oh, Owen. Plenty up now. Fleck's up there. Rosario's up there. But Alistair's long legs stops that Norwich attack. And it's with Dale Gordon. Ian Crook. Into Townsend onto the left foot. Good work again by the keeper. You daren't let Andy Townsend get anywhere near that goal with the ball on his left foot. Played in there. And the keeper turning it away. Another Norwich corner. And the pressure stays on Manchester United. Still 0-0. Big men from the defensive forwards. But big man in the defence for United, Steve Bruce, got that one away. Gordon having a fine game, but not a good cross.
Well, it's difficult to know what Norwich have got to do. As Dave Stringer says, they've just got to keep plugging away and hope that it goes right for them. Manchester United, well, they've got a lot of thinking to do out there.
They've also got some more defending to do here now as Norwich get another free kick. Ian Crook with it. He, Bowen and Culverhouse, all former Tottenham players. Rosario might well be the target man. Callister with him. Rosario gets it in the air. Fleck almost. You can see how those two would feed off each other. Rosario winning things in the air, and Fleck, who's so busy around him. Former Glasgow Ranger, of course, Robert Fleck. And a good record there. He only had 85 league games, but scored 29 goals in his time at Ibrox. It's a good rate of strike. Oh, another good goal kick there by Leighton. Hughes, delightfully played for Wallace. Townsend gets it back. Rosario's long leg. Fleck. Rosario. Fleck, the flag is up on the far side. It must be a Dale Gordon offside decision. And a free kick for Manchester United. But the black clouds were beginning to envelop Manchester United again in that penalty area. As Rosario and Fleck, aided by Gordon. Worrying time for Alec Ferguson. Bowen. It's a good ball by Bowen to Rosario. Cook now to David Phillips, who used to play for the other Manchester side, Manchester City. Bowen again. Not a bad ball either for Fleck. Back heel for Gordon. Rosario tipped away magnificently by Leighton. Great build-up again by Norwich, and a fine piece of goalkeeping by Scotland's #1, Jim Leighton.
Yeah, it's well held up by Dale Gordon. And a good tip over by Jim Boy, who's having quite a good game.
Dale Gordon again with the corner. Rosario again at the near post, looking for the little flick on. And hooked away by Bruce. The whistle must have gone for a free kick. Probably a push.
See, I can't understand why this was a free kick. I'm not too sure. No, in my book, the goalkeeper fell over, and as usual these days, referees give him a free kick for it.
And Norwich fans would say there was the smattering of a handball there against Mark Hughes in the box.
Quite possibly. But goalkeepers have only got to fall over now, haven't they?
Leclerc. Anderson. Butterworth backpedaling. Owen gets it back. Actually, it was a pass that put Linnigan under pressure. And Norwich a little fortunate to get it away now with Fleck. Rosario up there with him. And he tried to bring Townsend in on the far side. It's David Phillips again now. Again Townsend on that far side, but that time it's easy for Leighton. Andy Townsend. His father was Don Townsend, a player with Charlton. Good jump again by Butterworth. We've been concentrating a lot on Manchester United's problems, and I think that's been an angle that we've been taking, Jimmy, but you can't overlook the fact that whatever happens here, that Norwich City look a really well-balanced side, and particularly mean in defence. Butterworth and Linnigan in particular give so little away, and two full-backs who tackle well and also like to attack, and also a defence that's a midfield that's well-balanced.
They're a good side. They are a good side. The midfield, Ian Crook, Andy Townsend, good players. They're playing extremely well today. They've certainly got the measure of Manchester United.
But
It's
still
the old story. They can't get one in the back of the net.
Here's
See,
Crook.
Crook's had an excellent game.
Gordon playing it in for Fleck. Crook playing it through again. And Dale Gordon shrugged off the ball by Gary Pallister just when it looked as though things might be opening up again for Norwich City. McClare, Blackmore, Hughes. Ince. Here's Wallace. Martin poised just inside him. Now will Wallace take him on and get to that byline? He has. He's flicked it across. And so close to either Robbins or Hughes getting the touch that was vital. In the end, it goes behind off Hughes for the goal kick. Good play here by Danny Wallace. A little bit of acceleration over 3 or 4 yards. And a goal kick.
You've also got the awkward situation of Brian Gunn, who hasn't had to play well. And you always fear for a goalkeeper in that situation where he hasn't had a shot to save all match.
And also what Norwich will also fear is they've lost their last 4 and they so often seem to tumble in the last minutes of the game. Here's Townsend offside. Still goalless here. Let me remind you again about the goals from yesterday's First Division programme. The top 3 all winning, Liverpool, Villa and Arsenal, the goals from those games. And watch out for a couple of stunners too, as Nottingham Forest win at Derby County. That's all coming up after this game. Still 0-0 between Norwich and Manchester United. Rosario beaten in the air by Pallister. Make it 25 minutes now to go. Hughes' little touch to McClare. Free kick to Manchester United. Referee unhappy with the challenge. I think it was probably by Andy Linnigan. See how crowded it is there on the left-hand side there. There's some jostling that's going to go on there, picked up by our 18-yard camera as Blackmore plays it easily for Gunn. Phillips now for Norwich. To Fleck. Alvarez. Rosario using his strength there against Pallister. And then giving Gordon a chance to make a little run. It's a cross there, but Steve Bruce got up and helped by Lee Martin get it away into touch. Ian Culverhouse to Fleck. Crook. Townsend. Well watched by Clayton Blackmore. So Norwich get another corner this side. Again, Dale Gordon will take it. Once again, Rosario, 6'3" at the near post, will pose the biggest threat. Linnigan's coming up from the back. Townsend as well. Butterworth in there too. It's Crook playing it in early towards Butterworth on the far side, and Robert Fleck. Oh, my goodness, that was a spectacular looking shot across the face of the United goal. Good ball played in there, first time by Ian Crook. And then Fleck on the volley. Watch out, cameraman. Here's Gordon. And Clare gets it back. Wallace. Oh, Wallace! Wallace! Thought for a moment it was going to be a spectacular birthday celebration there for Danny Wallace. Looked just for a couple of moments there, Jim, as though he was going to pull the trigger.
Well, he bobbed and weaved, and he looked as though he was going to get through. He has been known to do it.
In the meantime, it's Butterworth to Rosario. And now Crook. Fleck to Rosario. Fleck again, might try something from long range. Nope. Oh, can try it from short range. Robert Fleck. Norwich ahead. Good combination. Townsend's lovely little touch. Fleck's finished just inside the post. And Norwich in the lead.
Well, you can't say they didn't deserve it. Brilliant 1-2. Great finish by Robert Fleck. And I think justice has been done. We can't argue with that. I think even the Manchester United supporters can't argue with that.
Ince to Martin. And United now with 20 minutes left to repair the damage. Bruce playing it forward, Blackmore going in, but no problems there for Brian Gunn. Gunn, who came to Norwich in 1986 and has been a first choice ever since. Phillips. Mistake there by Bruce. And by Norwich for the moment, but Phillips now trying to make the most of it. It was Bruce who got it away. That's Clayton Blackmore to Lee Martin. Hughes challenging hard, wins it twice from Culverhouse and from Crook. Finds Anderson. And turn to Brian McClare. Got to redouble their efforts now, United. Ince. Ferguson saying they need a win here to take the pressure off them. They're a goal behind. Crook. Rosario chasing, Pallister with him. And back to Jim Leighton. Good solid defensive work there by Gary Pallister. Came off Anderson, it'll be Norwich's throw. Remember, they are seeking to end a run of 4 successive defeats, all by the odd goal. And they're taking off Paul Ince to bring on Russell Beardsmore. And he'll operate, I imagine, down the right-hand side, which is what he normally does. Lively little lad and a good crosser of a ball for United. Fleck. Bowen. Crook. Spreading it wide now for Culverhouse. McClare. Beardsmore away on the right, here he is. Stopped by Bowen. Townsend to Bowen. He's had a really good game. Puts me in mind a little bit, Jimmy, of Kenny Sanson in his way. He's a compact player, loves to get forward, good left foot. And I tell you, he scores his ration of goals. He's got 4 this season.
Well, I wish he'd scored today. I've got him in the sweep, Brian. But yes, he has. He's had an excellent game. He has had an excellent game.
Crook. Culverhouse. Phillips. And here's Mark Bowen again. Welshman. Dale Gordon. Operating down the left flank in this second half after doing so much damage.
He's gone to pot now since we gave him a good mention.
Townsend. Crook. Little touch for Townsend.
I think what Norwich have got to be very careful of now is they're knocking it about in the middle of the field and they're playing possession football when really they've got the measure of Manchester United by going forward, and I think they've got to keep going forward if they're going to win this game. They could easily give it away by just playing it about.
Here's Wallace. Let's give them away to Crook. Fleck got himself onside. McClare to the rescue, and Leighton. Little Scottish trio there, Robert Fleck, Brian McClare, Jim Leighton. Fleck stayed down.
Well, it was a good ball by Ian Crook, yet again. I think he was definitely onside, there was no question about it. I don't know why he looked up at the linesman. I think had he not looked up, he'd have given himself a better chance.
Culverhouse back to Brian Gunn. Norwich leading by a goal to 0. Scorer Robert Fleck. First in the league, as you can see, since October. Mind you, he missed 5 or 6 games with an injury just before Christmas. Rosario. Hughes battling with Crook. Gets a free kick. Clash of the 2 number 10s. In fact, the free kick's given Norwich's way. Hughes unhappy with that. Bruce only half getting in there. Fleck diving in again. Rosario. Beardsmore. Can Wallace get in? There's a foul on him by Linnigan, a free kick. Russell Beardsmore with it. And Robbins, but flag was up. Norwich leading by 1-0. We can see the goal now from the other side of the field as Fleck made that breakthrough. And on the bench, the physio, Tim Shepherd, and the manager, Dave Stringer. The planning, it worked, and Norwich are ahead. Flag up on the far side for an offside against Fleck. A free kick to Manchester United.
Planet that work that we didn't see really was a beautiful 1-2 played with Andy Townsend.
Correct. Gordon. A chance now as United push forward for Norwich to catch them on the break. Fleck to Crook. Alongside him is Townsend, and here's Culverhouse. Gordon. Into Fleck again. Oh, and he's got it through, but it's offside. Been impressed by Robert Fleck this afternoon as well, Jimmy.
Well, all of them. I think the whole of the Norwich side have played extremely well. They deserve to be in front. They deserve to be in front by more. Let's be honest about it.
Hughes to McClare. Just can't get the ball out to Beardsmore. Now he can. Anderson coming up in support. Clayton Blackmore. Long range shot, but over the top. Goal kick. Game being played, or has been played today in Division 3. Robbie James scoring for Swansea 1. Huddersfield 3. Wilson. Chris Hutchins, former Chelsea man, with 2 there for Huddersfield. And Huddersfield go 5th in the 3rd division. Flicked on by Phillips. Rosario offside. And here at Carrow Road, we have 10 minutes of the game left. Bruce. Wallace took that well. Taking quite a buffeting from Culverhouse. And a free kick given to Manchester United. Well, they need a goal now. Stop the agony continuing. Norwich leading 1-0. Lee Martin with the free kick. Floated in there. Townsend first to show. McClare. To Hughes. And then hit by Bruce, but hit wide. The goal kick to Norwich.
One's got to say that there doesn't appear to be anything going for Manchester United at the moment. It's, they're looking a very sorry sight.
Only 2 away wins this season in the league at Luton. They won that 3-1, and they won handsomely at Coventry 4-1. Paul Ince now off the field with Russell Beardsmore on in his place.
The situation being is that there's still only 1 down with 10 minutes to go. You're always in with a shout.
Phillips. Rosario to Culverhouse. Fleck waiting for it. Rosario coming in on the far side. Dale Gordon keeping it in play, and plenty of room to work there.
Get with it, Polly! Get with it!
Back for Townsend. Fleck. Long range shot this time, tipped away well. he's had a terrific second half. He's caused all sorts of problems. He scored the only goal of the game so far. That was from close range. This is from long range and tipped away well by Jim Leighton. And it's Norwich's 8th corner of the game, and United have yet to win a corner, which in its way reflects just how much territorial advantage the home side have had. Now here's Dale Gordon with the corner. Linnigan at the near post. And a goal kick. Both Rosario and Butterworth went for that one. And United want to get on with it. Here's Lee Martin. Wallace. I don't think Beardsmore will get to that. It's a goal kick. Norwich, of course, warming up for a cup tie here against Liverpool next weekend. And the referee, the problem is that there are some stewards walking around the track with red tops. There we are. And the referee quite right saying I could be confused between those tops and Manchester United shirts. Townsend. Fleck again the first to show. Dale Gordon's gone into the middle for him. Phillips is in there too, and Pallister for Manchester United. The respite is brief because here's Townsend, Crook, Beardsmore. We're going to have to think about a man of the match very shortly, Jimmy. Contenders being the likes of whom?
The contenders being really everybody except Brian Gunn in the Norwich goal, really, on the Norwich side. I think they've all played very well, very competently. One can't, sadly, offer too many Manchester United players. Pallister's not had a bad game because he's had a bit of an handful, as is Steve Bruce. And Jim Leighton's done his job very well this afternoon. But he's going to be a Norwich player.
And in the next couple of 3 minutes, James, I shall ask you to name him. Here's Fleck at the moment for them. Now, Pallister versus Fleck. Now the pace of Fleck takes him past Pallister, and Bruce at the last ditch gets it away. It's another corner. Minutes of the game left. Norwich 1, Manchester United 0. Dale Gordon with another corner. Townsend, Linnigan, Butterworth, Rosario, Fleck, all in the box. Townsend, here's Crook. Long range shot. Oh, it's going to be another one. Fleck, the mistake there by Jim Leighton, and Robert Fleck took it gratefully. Leighton's mistake.
Great shot by Ian Crook here. Great shot. And Jim just can't hold it. Giving up a bit, hasn't he?
And Fleck made sure. Didn't quite know. He looked as though he might have been in two minds as to whether to try and flick it over, which he'd done so well so often this afternoon, or to try and catch it. Now Hughes, on the turn for Hughes, possibly Beardsmore trying to get in, and Gunn gives away the corner. United's first with 4 minutes of the game left. Robert Fleck, the scorer of both, 70 and 85 minutes. And United now win their first corner of the game. Pallister forward for it. But the signs are that it's another dark old day for United. Not a very good corner. In fact, the waste of a corner by young Mark Robbins. It comes out to Lee Martin. United throw. Lee Martin playing it in. Robbins beaten in the air by Butterworth. Beardsmore on the far side. Dale Gordon right back there. So much feverish activity now in both goal mouths that I can't even get to ask Jimmy man of the match. But we'll do that in just a second. Dale Gordon. And there's Fleck's shot from the other angle. I think Jimmy, we didn't really know whether he was going to hold it or tip it.
I don't think he was sure. It was a good shot from Ian Crook because it came out of the blue, and it was a toss-up between Andy Townsend and Robert Fleck actually, as to who was going to get the man of the match, but we haven't decided yet.
Right, let's decide now. Who's it?
Yeah, let's decide now then. The man of the match award goes to Robert Fleck because the second goal definitely crowned it for him.
It's Pallister for beleaguered Manchester United. Gordon gets it back.
I think after a slow start, he came into the game very well, and particularly the second half. He's had a great second half. As I say, Andy Townsend, I thought, runs him close, but we'll give it to a good old Robert.
Saw a sign that said Fleck for Scotland, knowing Andy Roxburgh. I'm sure he and his right-hand man, Craig Brown, have got somehow a look at this one today, as Fleck tries to go in again. In fact, Craig Brown was there at Loftus Road to watch Norwich last week. So they've had a good look at the likes of Brian Gunn and Robert Fleck. There's a man who's got the pressures building up to an almost intolerable level now. A decent man and a good manager too, but just having a bad run at the moment, Alex Ferguson. It's a cruel old game sometimes, and it's a bad one today for United. Into time added on at the end of this game at Carrow Road, with Norwich leading by 2-0. It's all over. The agony goes on for Alex Ferguson and Manchester United. No wins now in their last 10 league games. The pressure must be getting to bursting point for them. Norwich end a run of 4 successive league defeats. They can now look upwards after those 2 goals by Robert Fleck. Give them a deserved victory. Norwich City 2, Manchester United 0.
Go about it very, very quietly, but very confidently. That's no surprise to me, actually, that they're going to be there, obviously, at the end. And it looks like Arsenal are the only other team, in my opinion, at the moment, that are going to get there with them.
OK. Andy, there's more football on ITV on Wednesday night. That's Midweek Sports Special. The Littlewoods Cup quarter-final replays and World Championship boxing as well. But from Carrow Road, where Norwich City have beaten Manchester United by 2-0 this afternoon, it's goodbye from us all.
Forest's young Braves took the field at Tottenham tonight, cursing Spurs' courageous fight back a week ago, which forced a replay and loosened their grip as holders of the Littlewoods Cup.
Moments these for Nottingham Forest. Oh, and a cracking goal!
And West Ham, visitors at Derby, look back in despair to one dreadful moment from Tony Gale that could have blown their chances too. Have thrashed Arsenal at home, but what price Oldham tonight as they travel to Southampton to tackle one of the form sides of Division 1. Good evening to you on a night of 3 Littlewoods Cup quarter-final replays and the first meeting between Southampton and Oldham. Highlights from Tottenham, Derby and the Dell, plus goals from Coventry against Sunderland at Highfield Road. And if that's not enough, to cap it all, we've a world title fight from the northeast, Billy Hardy, challenging for the IBF Bantamweight Championship. Hardy, who's 25, is the longest reigning British champion. He's unbeaten on English soil, and he's fighting on familiar territory tonight in Sunderland, his hometown, at the very sports centre where he's employed. Canizales, world champion since July '88, jets in from Texas with an intimidating reputation. As one of the world's top boxers, they're calling him the Duran of the 90s. Hardy, very much the outsider.
Obviously, he's the favourite, he's the champion. I've got to prove a lot of people wrong, people outside of boxing as well as inside. But I've been proving people wrong all my life.
I know, I'm fighting in Billy Hardy's backyard, and I know they're going to be rooting for him. But I'm real confident in this fight that I'm going to block out everything and just concentrate on the fight.
A lot to look forward to then, starting with football and first news of the Coventry-Sunderland quarter-final, which produced a hatful of goals. Bob Hall reports.
Steve Livingston normally stars for Coventry reserves, but with the costly Kevin Drinkle out injured, he took his chance, the first on 14 minutes, from a Downs free kick. 4 minutes later, Sunderland's huge following was stunned into silence, Livingston finishing off a McDonald-Regis move. On half-time, David Speedy, sent off in last week's drawn game at Roker Park, went down after a late challenge from Gary Owers. Treatment completed, referee Martin sent Owers off, much to the angry indignation of the Sunderland team. As a contest, the game ended on 50 minutes, Livingston volleying home his third not only of the night, but also of his Coventry career. Confidence sky high, Livingston added a fourth, a superb solo run, evading defenders and shirk-tuggers alike. Coventry sealing their semi-final place at Nottingham, when Michael Ginn added a fifth, courtesy of Cyril Regis, only slightly denting Livingston's night.
Emphatic result from Highfield Road. Right, the rest of the day's headlines now from Tony Francis.
Yes, the sports headlines are caught up at the turnstiles as the government prepares to abandon...
Spurs Forest Littlewoods Cup quarter-final. It so gripped the imagination a week ago by the Trent. Forest carved a 2-goal lead, you'll remember, and seemed to be cruising when Spurs exploded into gear to hit 2 stunning goals and earn a replay. So, tonight, the story continues with our commentator, Martin Tyler.
Tottenham have made just one change from the side which fought back so splendidly at the City Ground. Naeem starts a senior game for the first time since October in place of Vinnie Samways. And midfield is a key area for Terry Venables, bearing in mind his side haven't won a game since Paul Gascoigne's injury. Nottingham Forest have named an identical lineup, but there is one improvement. Des Walker was badly weakened by flu in the first match. He's fully recovered now. Nigel Jemson will also be the better for his first senior goal at Derby on Saturday. Brian Clough came to White Hart Lane for his first match in charge of Nottingham Forest. That was 15 years ago. And also for his 1,000th game in management. That was 3.5 weeks ago. On both occasions, he was a winner, and his team won't easily relinquish their grip on the Littlewoods Cup. Brian Hill from Kettering about to get the quarter-final replay underway. Forest furious with themselves for being taken to this second game. Tottenham really striving to keep their season alive. It was an exhilarating 90 minutes in Nottingham, and I'm sure more of the same to come. Eric Tortsvet will hope for better fortune against Nottingham Forest this time. Mitchell Thomas is playing at left back. He was in midfield against Arsenal at Highbury. So one or two little tactical variations from Terry Venables. Pat Van den Hauwe wearing 3 but playing at right back. Paul Allen. It's an awkward one for Steve Sutton. Naeem follows in. What a start! Well, the manager has got the selection right so far. Steve Sutton had to go for it. He played so splendidly in the first game, and Naeem just rammed it in. But as we study another replay here, keep an eye on David Howells, who's gone right in on the line. Was he offside? It looked like it. Well, Tottenham so determined to make this a purposeful night, and what a return for the man from Barcelona. Now, while Brian Clough ponders on his side being a goal down, son Nigel needs some attention from Liam O'Kane. Well, they're both pretty impassive, the two managers. But there's been a very dramatic opening minute. Stewart for Lineker. And it's Naeem a second time. It didn't connect anything like as sweetly then. It very nearly came to Lineker again. Well, Forest very uncertain here, psychologically weakened by losing a goal after a minute and very nearly on their way to losing a second from the same player. Parker. The play stopped for a foul on Jemson by Howells. Parker. Crosby. This is Chettle. Stuart Pearce with plenty wearing red to aim for in the middle. Howells very tough in his approach again to try and win the ball. Jemson with a very clever turn. Crosby could benefit from this. And that was a whisker away from an equaliser. And already a courageous response by Nottingham Forest. But look at that change of direction by Jemson. He made it all possible. Crosby, who scored in the first game, wasn't too far away then. Stewart was backing in illegally. The Spurs' spirits are high at the moment, but there's a long way to go, and Forest have got a very good recent record at White Hart Lane. And Jemson hits it low, not cleanly. Well, Jemson, who's seen off Lee Chapman, who's moved on to Leeds, but now faces league competition from David Curry, who's been acquired from Barnsley. Curry not eligible tonight. Jemson will know he's got to keep scoring to keep his place. And Pearce with one that Torstvedt did well in the end to deal with. It swerved, it dipped, it bounced. The sort that can be nightmares for goalkeepers, particularly a goalkeeper who becomes something of a butterfingers, it seems, when he faces Nottingham Forest. Naeem, oh, jauntily done, and Sedgley very encouraged by what happened to him in Nottingham. Might just see under the right eye there's still a scar from an injury against Spurs in the match we televised, against Arsenal here, the match we televised back in October. He spilt a lot of blood. Jemson. Oh, Polston overcommitted then. Last Wednesday, when there were a lot of talking points in the other Littlewoods Cup ties, there's an almost angelic feel to this game. Hodge, Crosby, oh! He seemed to have so much of the far side of the goal to aim at, but he just opened his foot too much. And Hodge, who had 18 months here with Spurs, so close to setting up an equaliser against his old club, and Crosby should have taken that. Another warning to Tottenham. Stewart, good touch, and from Lineker. My word, that was direct from Tottenham and very dangerous. David Howells was the third outfield player involved after Stewart and Lineker had set up a smell of a goal for him. Stewart's header. Well, he's a little camera shy tonight, it seems, the Nottingham Forest manager. Laws. Brandon Howe able to play further forward because of the three centre-backs that Tottenham are using. He's almost a right-sided midfield player rather than a right-back. A free kick in a position of some possibility for Tottenham. The player who got free was Howells, who scored in each of the last two home games for Tottenham and retains the instincts of a striker, which was his first job when he was signed as a professional here. Put all the effort into the jump and lost a little bit of accuracy. Polston. Now Clough. Oh, and that deflected off Polston for Crosby, and another one goes a-begging for Nottingham Forest. Clough was looking for a different sort of pass, but it deflected off Polston perfectly for Crosby. And the Littlewoods Cup holders might rue that one. Lineker wanted somebody to his right. There was no one there, but there were plenty to the left. Allen. It was Chettle who saw the pass from Naeem coming. Clough leading the breakout for Forest. This time it is a genuine counter-attack as opposed to just an attack. Crosby, and it's brought the equaliser from Hodge. And Forest certainly deserve it. So Steve Hodge comes back to White Hart Lane and makes a point perhaps to Terry Venables. He flew into the middle to pilfer the goal, and Crosby, who's missed a couple of chances, certainly cut Tottenham apart to make that one for Hodge. Polston backpedaling, but Crosby got it across, and Hodge was flying in. And surely he's in Bobby Robson's World Cup plans again, as he was 4 years ago. Tottenham free kick, does that count? Thomas actually made contact with a moving ball. Only just moving, but enough for the referee to say, take it properly. Sedgley takes it. Stewart. Danger not over yet for Forest. Howells. Hodge can clear and bends the pass superbly for Crosby. Oh, and there's a man over here. It's Jemson, found by Parker. Sedgley trying to hold him up. Jemson trying to get past him. He's done that. Oh, my word! Terrific goal. And Nottingham Forest have done it again. They have broken the length of the pitch. And Tottenham will have talked about how you can get caught out by them. And still they haven't been able to stop it. But Jemson was a jewel here. He slipped Sedgley and then hammered it into the roof of the net. A goal at Derby on Saturday, that was his first for the club in a senior game, and a second, a splendid one, at White Hart Lane. Crosby. Well, Gary Crosby has shown plenty of character in the first half after missing two very good chances. But he's played his part in the Forest revival. A week ago it was Tottenham who stormed back, but tonight it's Nottingham Forest. Nigel Jemson with the second of their 2 goals in a 5-minute spell. As half-time approached, Steve Hodge had equalised after a sensational start from Tottenham and from Naeem, who scored after 1 minute. At half-time at White Hart Lane in a captivating Littlewoods Cup quarter-final replay, it's Tottenham Hotspur 1, Nottingham Forest 2. Nottingham Forest start the second half, 2-1 in front, out of the FA Cup already, as indeed Tottenham are, of course. Forest in this competition, 15 matches unbeaten before tonight. The dilemma for Spurs is that they obviously have to try and get a goal, but they have shown again how vulnerable they are when they push forward to the speed and the spirit and the skill of Forest football on the break. Parker, just upfield from Hodge this time. Naeem, it's well delivered for Stewart, and a compliment and the ball return. Oh, Van den Hauwe, who's not particularly used to getting into scoring positions. He was herring up towards the far post. I remember Pat Van den Hauwe once getting a goal which won a championship